So in this big picture of everything too, melatonin plays a big role. And when there's inflammation and there's stress, we decrease our melatonin levels. But then when we're not producing as much melatonin, or we're getting into bad rhythms of sleep that also decrease our melatonin, we decrease our ability for our brain to heal. Melatonin is also there to produce antioxidants and support for our brain so it can heal. And melatonin is what we produce more at night. Our best hours of melatonin production tend to be between 10 to 4, and there's a little bit of variability in that. But when one of the things that we see a lot with head injuries too is they make people nocturnal. They make it so that your sleep patterns are disrupted, which then leads to sleep disruption too, and melatonin, which then just starts to, as you see a lot with a lot of different things in head injuries, sort of get this sort of snowball effect of, more and more problems and concerns. So melatonin is something obviously a lot of people have heard of, and they can take over the counter. There's a couple things that I would say about melatonin is it's not necessary. Like, I'm not that provider that says, oh, everybody should take melatonin. There is some controversy on whether or not it becomes you become dependent on it. I think it's actually an individual thing. Like I know a lot of people who come off and on it. I think the form of it matters a lot. So I'm a big fan of liposomal melatonin, actually, especially for head injuries.
Can you spell that?
Yes. Liposomal is Liposomal.
Okay.
And what it is it's just the molecule of it. So that, and if you Google liposomal melatonin, you'll find ones that are specifically liposomal. But the reason is because that tends to cross the blood-brain barrier more. And so that tends to help the brain a little bit more. And I find people who take that don't have the grogginess sometimes that you find with the other kinds. I'm also a big fan of extended release for some people. And the reason is the half-life of melatonin, I believe, is 42 minutes. So by the time you've taken melatonin an hour and a half into sleep, you've already burned through 75% of it. And so I find the extended release is really good for the brain, because if you can then take it throughout the night and have it sort of an extended release, you can help with the brain's ability to heal and that antioxidant support, and really providing a better environment for your brain.
That's great information.
Well, and if you wake up and, like a lot of us feel like this, like if you feel really achy, that's usually a lymph system component.
Wow. I never knew that.
Because you're laying down for 8 hours and your lymph then doesn't get that help of gravity.
Okay.
And so whenever you can do like vibration or some gentle movement or some like even 5 minutes of yoga before bed, that's going to help keep your lymph moving. Lemon and lemon water, great for lymph. So, you can do it either before bed or right when you get up to help move the lymph. Don't eat so close to bed because that's going to back up your lymph. Saunas are really good. Epsom salt baths, all of those things in the evening can help to be able to relax your body and move the lymph. Whenever you're doing anything like this for brain healing, I'm also a big supporter of making sure that you're doing lymphatic drainage, just so that you're doing that support for the lymphs.
Can you explain what lymphatic drainage is?
Yes. So your lymph system is your immune system, and it's the cleanup system in your body, but you have a huge part of that lymph system in your brain. And we call it the glial lymphatic system, but it's the actual part of the lymph system that detoxes and heals your brain every night. And this plays a big role in what we eat. Like the foods that we eat can help to support our lymph drainage. Hormone support also makes sure that our lymph doesn't get backed up, and digestive health, all are things that help with the lymph. So even like drinking a lot of like a fair amount of water before you go to bed, just to help be able to have that hydration to heal the lymph system. Chi systems or, vibration plates help to move the lymph. Different essential oils. There are essential oils that can help with hormone support. Like clary sage is one of my favorite, or there are other ones that you can do to help support the lymph, like lemon, frankincense, black pepper, cypress. They're all really good for the lymph.
And what would you do with those essential oils? Because I have essential oils and I've used them, but like, are you talking like put them on a roller, diffuse
Yeah,
them?
I'm a big
What?
supporter for the essential oils to either use them topically if they're indicated or you
Where would
diffuse
you
them.
where would you put them?
Well, I actually like, I always like the feet. I think that when we look at reflexology and we look at the feet, those are sort of, points that we can use just for overall total body wellness. But I'm also a big supporter of doing them on like the back of the neck at night, as long as you can tolerate it well. But that just helps to open up the lymph system from the brain, or to put them right on the top of your clavicle. There's actually a lymph drain right there too, and a lot of lymph nodes. And so it's just a good way. And then if you're sensitive or you've got any problems with the essential oils, just mix them, with a carrier oil. And it could be anything from an olive oil to an avocado oil to sesame oil, whatever, sort of works for you.
Yeah, I have rollers with fractionated
Yeah.
coconut oil that I'll use. Yeah, so cue me doing that tonight.
Yeah.
Putting it there.
And the other thing that I will say, because I know that, I'm all for like what people can do. You're not going to do any damage with melatonin, but just listen to your body. Like if you're waking up every day and you feel worse on melatonin, either go down to a lower dose. Like some people have to start at 1 milligram, 2 milligrams, and don't necessarily go to some of the 5 or 10 right away. You can do a combination. I have a lot of patients that will take an extended release melatonin and then also take a little bit of liposomal. So they'll get sort of that melatonin hit right away to protect their brain. And then they'll also, extend it and have the extended release throughout the night. The other thing too is that you can get progesterone creams over the counter. I would be a little bit cautious of this, just a little bit, not to necessarily just do it without some kind of guidance or into it, like listening to your body. But, you can do a little bit of that for brain healing too. And I see a lot of people who get a lot of benefit. Those are a little bit more mild, usually wild yam based progesterones that are not as strong as like bioidentical. But, you could try something like that and see how it does. I think the main message that I would just like to get out to the listeners is that there's a lot that you can do in healthcare. One of the things that I unfortunately think we sort of have as a message is that that the power is not in like the person doesn't have the power. And I always tell people, I'm just your backseat driver. That, you come to a functional medicine provider or you go and you do all your research because you can have somebody help you along in the journey and sort of guide you in the fact that I know, and I've been I've been on this journey with other people. So I can say, okay, take a right, take a left, you're on the right journey, or like we need to stop and really see where you are. But at the end of the day, you're the driver, you're the one in control. And I know that there are so many wheels in motion and can become overwhelming, but every step forward really matters. And I think just putting it all together and really being your own advocate and really just being your own cheerleader is so important. And then finding the right team to help you and guide you on the journey, but that you take control and you take back the power, because so many times, especially working with individuals that have had head injuries, like the story I told earlier, I think we make you feel like there's something more wrong with you than just the head injury. Like, whether or not we tell you, well, this is anxiety, this is depression, or this is all in your head, that's not true. And it's not true. And realize every stop along the way, like you can take and receive the information you want to take and receive, but you can leave whatever doesn't resonate with you. And that this is your journey and that, every step you take is getting you closer to where you're meant to be.
That's so encouraging and so great for us. There is hope, tangible hope. Hope
Yes.
is not just this like abstract concept. Like the podcast called Hope Survives. There's tangible hope for you. And here's one of the reasons. Hey, maybe it's not just your mental health. Maybe your hormones are going on. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's something very empowering in knowing that. I have always thought, or like doctors have said, oh, it's your depression that's keeping you in bed every morning, but maybe it's your cortisol level, like maybe it's that you don't have the cortisol spike that other people have in the morning. And so maybe you're not just depressed. Maybe there's something else going on. Like, so that's why getting tested and getting connected with the right practitioner and learning more about your body and what's going on with you will help your recovery so much.
Keep digging.
Yeah.
So, and find people you trust, because it is very complex. But when you find a team that you trust and that's in your corner, then you can start to make progress forward, but trust yourself and trust your team.
So good. And don't ever be afraid to get a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion.
Yes.
Yes. Through your darkest night, hope survives.